What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. warns Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Tank Davis. To this day, he's coming to 135. You know, I seen a video where he was training, and he was at 143 anyway. Okay, people, you need to understand the difference between walking around weight and fighting weight. Okay, you know, a lot of times in a perfect world, let's just say in a perfect world, fighters should fight their walk around weight. That's what truly defines them as athletes. It's a lot of fighters that are young enough that can make a certain weight and they fight at a weight that's nothing like their walking around weight. If they're 180, 170, 165, they're fighting at 140, 147, okay? And then that's normally what it is. That's why after the weigh-in, they're all starched and drawn up and stuff, and then you see them after, they look a lot bigger because, they had to add the water weight and all the, the weight comes back, okay? So after they hydrate themselves, it's a different story. Well, with Gary Russell Jr., he's telling these guys he's coming for them. And I understand. But before I counterpunch Gary Russell Jr., he has this to say. He says, I don't really say much, but when I talk, motherfuckers better listen. You better pay attention, Gary Russell said. I'm grinding, and I'm telling you, Devin Haney, your father said something and might have you in some serious shit, though. 135, I'm coming. Ryan Garcia, surely you can get your little ass beat too. Tank, what's up, dog? Let me show you something. I ain't stepped on this motherfucker yet, but you're going to see. And it was 143 on the scale. He says, what does that say? 143. Stop playing with me. I'm coming to 135 for real. You better get your shit together. The quarantine is about to be up, and you better hope that this shit keeps coming because I'm coming out, and I'm coming like a fucking monster, warns Gary Russell Jr. Now, I see Gary Russell Jr. I don't know what his contract's like. I don't know when it's up. I just know he's an Al Haymon fighter. And I see Al Haymon at times, if you talk shit about Al Haymon, he'll put you on timeout. Timeout! Right? But, Tank Davis, he was talking a little bit too much. They put him on timeout. Gary Russell Jr. did the same thing. They put him on timeout. But I think Gary Russell Jr. is a guy unlike Tank Davis. Tank Davis got his punishment on timeout, and he went back, and he reverted back to submissiveness. Okay, Gary Russell Jr. not so much. Think about it. You got Tank Davis, you got Devin Haney, you got Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are not PBC fighters. Okay, that's already a no-no. I'm telling you that right now. So that lets you know that this guy doesn't care what platform you're on. He doesn't care who you sign with. He wants to fight you. He's not like the typical PBC fighter. That's why I predict, give another year, Gary Russell Jr. will not be with Al Haymon long. That's my prediction on that, because Al Haymon doesn't base fights off of fan base. He bases fights off of how much money that they can make. Safe fights. So if a fighter can still have a name, he wants to keep that fighter's and his name intact. He doesn't want to risk getting that fighter's name affected, okay, by a loss. That's why he has so many of these guys that are fighting guys that you don't want to see. You don't know who the hell they are because he's not taking a risk if that guy already makes enough money for him. See, if you have enough fighters and they're all making a certain amount of revenue for yourself and they kick back to yourself, you don't want to get your money makers with this name of their selling and marketability, affected by a loss. That's what Al Haymon does. He's not going to throw his fighter in there with another fighter that could possibly beat him. Every so often, he might give you a B plus fighter plus a C plus fighter. You might get a fight like that, but like a 2 A's, no, you're not going to get that. You know what I mean? Then, of course, you have your gatekeeper fighters. They probably fight more than anybody, but then they take more of the ass whooping because they're in there with fighters that they shouldn't be in there with. But Gary Russell Jr. is not that guy. He's that guy that only has one loss to Vasil Lomachenko, okay, which is one of the best fighters in the world, mind you, and he wants a piece of him again. How many times have you heard Gary Russell say he wants some of Loma? How many times have you heard other fighters, Rigendao, Jason Sosa, any of these guys, Linares? How many times have you heard these guys call out Loma? Right? They don't want to fight that guy again. Nicholas Walters, right? Nicholas Walters. You don't see him wanting to fight Loma again. But Gary Russell Jr. does. He's a different type of breed. He's that type of guy that likes to challenge himself, okay? He's going to go with someone else that he can get those fights with. If he can't get Tank Davis, because Tank Davis is protected. We know this. He's protected. So if he can't get Tank Davis, he's going after Ryan Garcia, okay? And if he can't get Ryan Garcia, he's going after Devin Haney. Devin Haney's hungry himself, so, I see that fight probably easily happen before the other two, to be honest with you, because De La Hoya, I don't think he wants to put Garcia in there with someone like Gary Russell. Those fast hands, probably have some of the fastest hands in boxing today, okay? And and he wants to challenge himself. He's telling these guys, I want to be the baddest man on the hill. That's a little Roy Jones Jr. right there. He has that Roy Jones Jr. spirit. Him and Terrence Crawford. Those guys are the reason they are who they are. They got to where they are with the attitude and the spirit they have, the spirit of competitiveness. Okay? They love the challenge. Some people would rather sit back. I got a nice house. I got my kids. I'm not going to risk anything. I'm going to stay back and let my promoter or my advisor pick my fights. Okay? These guys are not like that. These guys could give a shit about the money per se, because the money's going to make itself. Okay? These guys want to challenge their talents. And that's something you can say about Gary Russell Jr. And again, I got to take my hat off to him. Because here's the thing. These days, you have so many fighters that don't care about fighting the best. They only care about trying to emulate something some other fighter already did. And yes, I'm talking about Mayweather. You can't be a bunch of Mayweather clones. You have to make your own claim. If Errol Spence knew anything about his career, he should understand. He should have fought Terrence Crawford last year. You know what I mean? He should have fought him last year. Oh, I'm going to fight him this year, sometime next year. I mean, keep dragging it out, and then some, he goes in there with Ugas and then fucks around and gets beat. Then Al Heyman's like, oh, he turns into Macaulay Culkin. Oh, yeah, well, that's what happens when you try to wait too long for something and, because of fear or doubt or whatnot, and something else happens. It always happens. It never fails. But back to Gary Russell Jr., he's out for the kill. And this kid is impressive. This man is impressive. And he wants to show everybody something, So, you guys tell me what you think about Gary Russell Jr. calling out everyone in the lightweight division damn near. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.